Okay, we had another Road to Las Vegas battle today by Peter Schall, who often does creative cases, and this was no exception. So really interesting one here. We had lots of tabs, 25 tabs. This is representing 25 players that competed in an Excel esports round, and they had various answers, some correct, some not correct. And our actual questions will give us clues to who has the correct answers. We could then use those correct answers to find out what our answer is, essentially. So our answer normally is going to be like the sum of the players that got the question right, for example. So the trick to this case is getting all the data in one place so you can work with it. Ideally, I want to have a question, player 1's answers, then player 2's answers, then player 3's answers. Then I can work with them in a table. So there's many ways to do this. You can use indirect or Power Query. Probably the simplest way is a little trick. You can say equals, and then you can click a tab, and click a cell. What you can actually do before you choose your cell is hold Shift to select multiple tabs and click the cell that you want. So let's say I want this cell here. As long as my data is consistent, which it is, if I press equals, I will get an error, but actually underneath this error are 25 stored values from those cells. So I need to do something to them to be able to see them, so I could sum them up, for example. Or, in this case, I could say toRow to spill them across. And now I can actually see all my answers for the 25 players. But probably the quickest and most efficient way for this case is to do hstack. So if I say hstack, all of this, then I get all the answers for all the players for level 1. So I'm going to want to do that for every question. So let's just do that and make sure they're consistent in the ordering. So O looks clear here for every question. The reason I want them consistent in the ordering is because the bonus questions are going to ask us, who got the most questions right and stuff like that. So let's pull that over here. I think I actually only want to do it for the questions and not the examples as well, because I don't want any of the examples messing with the bonus questions. So let's take that to E17, and then that should just be our question numbers. So we want to go one down on that. There we go. All right, so let's just set that up for the rest of the questions quickly. So hold Shift, select all the tabs, question 2 answers, then question 3. This is going to be a little bit boring to watch, but that's fine. As you can see, it's pretty quick to pull them with this method. I think having a good method for this at the start is the big time saver for the whole case. 5, yeah, okay, it's not actually taking that long, so it's not too bad. There we go. That's everything. So let's get started on the questions. So the way the questions are generally laid out, it will tell you how to find what the correct answer was, and then how to find what our correct answer should be. So the first question is just that they are one-to-one. So the correct answer is what our correct answer should be. So this is telling us player 20 got the correct answer, player 5 got the correct answer. So we just want to choose that column from this. So we can say choose cols, this array, and the player that got it right. So that should be our correct answer. And then because this is one-to-one, we can just do that. And the next one is going to be exactly the same in terms of the correct answer. So I can just copy that formula down here. And then we actually want the count of the players with the correct answer. So we can say count if this says the correct answer. That's that one. Again, the correct answer is just the player that's given, so quite straightforward. But the difference is our answer now is actually going to be the sum of all the players that got it right. So I'll just split the workings out here, and then I'll collapse it into a single cell. I did it all single cell in the real thing, I was just a bit slow. So this would be our 25 players, just sequence 25. And then I want to say if the answers are equal to what our model answer is, then give me that sequence, otherwise give me 0. And then what I can do is I can sum that up. So let's just move our sequence 25 into the formula here, which is this bit. And we need to sum those up. So that is going to be our correct answer. So let's put that in here, and then just get rid of this chunk. And that is actually going to be the method to get the correct answer for every game on from here. So let's just put that in now, and it will automatically update as we go through the case. This is a bit of a shortcut. I did it obviously individually for the real thing because I didn't know that that was going to be the method to get the correct answer. And obviously the trick is that the correct answer that these players were playing differs in how you get there. So now it's going to be the player who didn't appear in this player list. So again, I'll split out my workings and then collapse it to a single cell. So I want to do grab all the player names here, and I want to sort them. So let's say sort. However, I want to sort on column because this is spilled across instead of down. So I can see here's the list of players, and I'm basically looking for the missing player out of 25. And the missing player here is 3, so player 3 is missing. So how do I do that? Well, I can say, does that equal sequence of my 25 again? And I'm going to get trues or falses. So as soon as I see a false, that means the player is missing. So all I need to do is X match false in that list. So X match false in that list. So 3 is. So let's just pull that correct answer formula into here. So that's going to give us our player number that got it right. And then we can just choose the column out of that. So choose calls this for that player. And that's the right answer. We can see our normal answer updated there as well. So there we go. And the next question is, for each game, the correct answer is the most frequent guess for all players. So for that, it's quite easy with my lambda, which is just at most of this. It's just going to pull the most frequent thing in the list. It's a very common question. So the next one is that the correct answer is the average of all of these players' answers. So if I just split out numbers from something like this, I can then say choose calls this from this array. And the choose calls formula does take arrays as arguments. So I can say choose calls from this. And I want to pick, I've got extract numbers to pull numbers out. You can obviously just also text split these to get them. And then I want average of that. So average. I didn't put choose calls, I put choose. So there we go. That's that one done. Okay, question 7, this is very similar. So we have a number of players to choose, but we only want to pick the ones that are divisible by this number here. So let's split this out, and then we'll do it in a single cell. So if we say extract numbers, let's actually do it on the question. We're going to get a list of numbers. We want to know if they are divisible by 4. So to do that, we can say mod 4. So if this is a 0, it means the player number is divisible by 4. Let's just put our numbers there again so you can see that. So we can see this is divisible by 4, this is divisible by 4, this is divisible by 4, and so on. So we would like to say if this equals 0, then give us the numbers from here. Otherwise, give us NA. The reason I've said NA is to purposely get an error. And what I want to do with that error is I want to say 2 row, just to get rid of it. This is a trick to get rid of errors. 2 row 3, and that will get rid of all the errors. I then have all of our player numbers for whose answers I want to pick. So we can do our whole choose calls thing again. So choose calls of this array for these players. And we want the average of those. So average of those, and that should be our answer. Now, I have an error because I did mod 4 instead of actually clicking the number that we're trying to do the mod for. Now, you'll notice there's 2 wrong, and that is correct because we have some extra instructions here. If the given number is 0 for our mod, the correct answer is for only those that are prime numbers. So if you could figure out a formula for prime numbers, you've basically cracked maths and are due millions of pounds. So we're going to have to do this one manually. So let's just say extract numbers from here. It might actually be useful to have a list, you know, a lambda with a list of the first 1,000 primes, and then this kind of stuff would be quicker. But let's do it manually. So we've pulled the numbers out. Let's sort them. Sort, and we want to sort by column because it's spilled across, and then we want to pick out the primes. So in here it's going to be 2, 5, 7, 11, 17. And I think that's it. So let's just manually amend this whole 2-row bit to just be 2, 5, 7, 11, 17, and that corrects our answer. And then let's just spill the list for here. And again, we want 2, 3, 5, 7, 9 is not prime, nor is 12, so let's just remove that, but 11 is, 17 is, and 23 is. So let's just highlight those in some colour so I can see them. And let's go, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 17, 23. And nobody got that right. So let's now get rid of this junk. That's all done. So now it's on to bonuses. So how many games in level 1 did player 1 get correct? So here's all of player 1's answers. So we just want to marry these up with the correct answers there. So we can say sum of minus minus the correct answers equal player 1's answers. Now in level 4, which game number did only one player get correct? So for this, we can just say count if this says the correct answer, and then we're looking for a 1, which is here, which is game 78. So that's game 78. There's only one game number that all players got correct. Which one is it? So I'm going to do that out here, and I'm basically looking for a column where everything is the same. So I can just say, and this equals the end number. That's fine, and then I'm just looking for a true. So let's just drag that all the way down, and then look for true. I think I need to do by values. We have found, oh, we've got all the blanks there, so let's just do if blank. And then that will solve that issue. So it's this one, question 97. And I'm doing these live because I didn't actually get these last 3 bonuses in the live round today. So let's give this a go. How many points out of 1,000 did the winning player get? So all I want to do is ask if this is the same as the correct answer. If so, give me the points. Otherwise, give me 0. So let's do equals if these things equal the correct answer, which is here. Give me the points. Otherwise, give me 0. And I want to lock all of this stuff and sum the whole lot up. So that will give me every player's points across, in theory. And we're looking for the maximum of those, which is going to be 428. So let's put that in, 428. And then how many correct answers did the player with the most correct answers have? So if the answer's right, instead of giving them the points, we want to give them 1. However, we're going to have the issue that all of these blanks are probably going to line up. So let's get rid of the blanks first. So we're going to say if is blank, that do 0. Otherwise, if this, give me 1, otherwise give me 0. That should be it. And the maximum there is 60. So a few tricky bits to watch out for there. I hadn't done these last bonuses, so I was a bit slow there, but yeah, I had to watch out for these blanks because they would equal the same thing. And yeah, if I include the examples in here, this would be trickier. Something you could do, if that was the case, is just VStack the game numbers, points, and players' answers together into one tab and do it that way. But yeah, one of the easier cases. Quite good practice for dealing with multiple tabs and how to lay that out. So yeah, great case, and I'll see you next time.